What up, y'all? This is your boy, One Sir Grove. This is episode, believe it or not, 30 of C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. This show, this particular episode, is about pussy-ass attorneys, lawyers, motherfucking scared-ass, cowardly motherfucking piece of goddamn shit fucking lawyers who have not the fucking balls or guts to muster a massive data breach. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, this is interesting. Yeah, this particular episode is about a massive data breach that recently took place, of which I am the person who actually reported it to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Now, if you're not familiar with ODNI, that's the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which was formed after 9/11. After America was attacked on 9/11 by fucking goddamn motherfucking piece of shit, fucking less than humans, there was this reformation of government that took place. The reformation was the Department of Homeland Security. It was the Transportation Security Administration and all these other motherfucking agencies that came to exist after 9/11. And by the way, this is a mobile podcast. And I don't know why this person isn't just turning the fucking wheel and going around the corner. I don't know what takes so long for these motherfuckers to just turn the goddamn fucking wheel. But anyway, in terms of the dumbing down of America, which is a good point actually here for reference, the reformation of America after 9/11 led to some stooge-ass agencies that are fucking even more preposterous than the previous entities that existed. So let's get into details about what I'm referring to and what I've alluded to in terms of a massive data breach. If you've ever heard of the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, the Office of Personnel Management experienced a situation in which there were millions of contractor records that were exposed. And when I say contractors, I'm referring to federal government contractors, civilian contractors who do work for the United States government on many different levels, whether classified, sensitive, confidential, you name it. Anybody who is a defense contractor in the Office of Personnel System of Management database, those records were compromised and jeopardized and released and exposed to foreign adversaries. And when it happened, it wasn't just the contractors' information, it was also federal employees. So you had a combination of United States federal employees and United States civilian defense contractors, businesses, individuals, sole proprietorships, LLCs, corporations, all of these individuals working for the United States government who were in the database system for the Office of Personnel Management in terms of their home locations, their cell phone and phone numbers, their relatives and family members and extended relatives and family members, and their national security background investigations. That information was compromised and fell into the hands of our enemies. Well, that's not just what happened, and that was the end of the story. If you look at the details with the forensic lens, you find out that it actually happened over the course of multiple years. And the government knew that it was happening and failed to mitigate, stop, and fix the issue when it was taking place. There were folks who had reported to the government that there was a massive breach of these confidential records. And the government did absolutely goddamn motherfucking nothing to prevent it from happening. Well, folks, there's a new data breach that you're about to hear about. There's a brand new fucking data breach that you're about to hear about. And I'm the one who has brought the data breach to the government and said, hey, listen, you've got a major motherfucking debacle on your hands. You have a major fucking problem going on here in the works right now, in progress. It's happening right motherfucking now. And I'm not Edward Snowden, so I'm not going to go and run and fucking spill the beans and tell the Russians or anybody else outside of the United States who's not the United States government. No, I took it to the fucking government and I said, listen, man, fuck you. This is what's happening. You goddamn motherfucking better do something about it. And this particular episode here, episode 30, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let you in on what's going on so that there's no fucking way. These people have absolutely no way out in terms of they'll have no excuses, and they're not going to say this time around that they didn't know about this shit in advance. So, to shed some more light on it, let me explain the following. I have been going up and down the eastern seaboard calling every attorney in the yellow pages, in the indexes, every motherfucking attorney from A to Z. I've just been dialing, war fucking dialing, if you will. I've just been dialing every attorney who specializes supposedly in cybersecurity, whistleblower laws, bounties. Now, let's talk about bounties, because a lot of attorneys nowadays who are fucking fraud and who are liars and deceivers, a lot of these fucking piece of shit, peonic, fucking pea-brained, fucking peon, moronic, fucking idiot, superfluous, fucking dick-sucking, piece of shit fucking attorneys who claim to have America's best interests in mind. I'm gonna tell you like this, dude. Here's the new game. Here's the new industry. This is the fucking fraud that's going down. So what you have are these attorneys who, when you communicate with them and you say, hey, listen, I'm a United States defense federal contractor. I've worked at the Department of Justice. I've been involved in undercover, covert operations. I was a school teacher for 10 years. I started off at the state and local levels after 9/11, working in counterterrorism. And then eventually, I ended up with the job in the U.S. Intelligence community. And I specialize in cybersecurity and other areas. And I know of a massive data breach that has just taken place. Okay, here's what they do. This is what these fucking pieces of fucking shit. This is what these pieces of shits. This is what they're gonna tell you. You can show them the data breach, because I did. I've already demonstrated it. I already demonstrated it to a group of attorneys, and I already showed them the screenshots, so they have the information and they know. They've admitted openly that they are aware of the data breach. That's the other thing, because they have no fucking goddamn way out this time. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go online and I want you to Google OPM breach. Just Google OPM. That's Oscar, Papa, Michael, OPM, Office of Personnel Management breach. Google that shit. And start reading through the various articles that you find, and look for the one that's written by the individual, the gentleman in Baltimore, Maryland, who explains in great, fantastic, fabulous detail how the United States government totally fucked up. And they had all the information that they needed, and they pussyfooted around, they bullshitted, and they're the ones. They are the reason why and how foreign adversaries were able to compromise OPM. The OPM system is a piece of fucking garbage system. It's an antiquated, outmoded, dinosaur, prehistoric piece of fucking trash, computer fucking junk system. Okay? Now, keep this in mind as well. When you are applying for a job with the United States government, and you're going through all these different digital computer gateways and checkpoints, and you're filling out, forms and documents, and you're submitting your information through web submission forms and fields and things of this nature, and your data, they're going out in packets across the, internet, the ether, and all these different computers are talking to each other, right? And your information is being processed and sorted and put into different little files and directories, right? Okay, so those systems, those secure socket layers, right? Those SSLs and all those different, TCP/IP protocols, right? You're supposed to have your information be secured. Your information is supposed to be secure. It's supposed to be in a secure filing /IE file system, right? That's what you think. You think you're like, well, I'm on this website and I'm submitting my information. I'll give you an example. Another example. You go to fill out a form that says you want to work for the CIA, because you studied history and now you want to serve your government, right? America. That's great. I'm not going to sit here and say anything negative to denigrate the CIA. I'm simply using an example from what happened to the CIA. So the system that's supposed to be secure because you're thinking, dude, it's fucking CIA. Like, I'm going to, fill out my information because I'm going to hopefully get a job, like the Jack Ryan series and shit, right? I'm going to be like Ben Affleck. I'm going to be a professor and I'm going to go on a tour of duty and help my country. Well, that's great. It's fine and dandy, man. And I commend you and applaud you for your efforts in sending in your application to the Central Intelligence Agency. Albeit, notwithstanding, caveat, go back and look at the data breach that took place, or the error, the system error, as it was referred to, when over the weekend, 1 year, not too long ago, I'd say it happened in the past 20 years, Mandela effect, shifting timelines, but I would say 20 fucking years because it happened. Yeah, you can see where people had submitted their information and then it's kind of mysteriously disappeared over the weekend, and the CIA had to kind of backpedal a little bit and admit that there was something that had taken place, and they were asking folks to resubmit their information that had mysteriously, who knows, man, who fucking knows where it went, disappeared, supposedly, right? Okay, that's CIA. So again, people thinking that their information is secure because they're sending it to CIA or to FBI or to Department of Justice or to NSA or to the Defense Intelligence Agency or ODNI or any goddamn motherfucking agency on the planet for the United States government or any government for that matter. People think that shit is secure. Well, I'm here to tell you, dude, that it's not. It's abso-fucking-lutely not. And not only is it not secure, despite whatever you're told, whatever fucking cover story you're told, whatever, official story you're fucking you're told, right? So here's the deal. Your information is compromised and it's jeopardized, and it's not necessarily secure. I would never believe that it actually is. And the case where that is proven and it's been demonstrated that it's not is with the Office of Personnel Management. Now, I took the ASVAB at the Office of Personnel Management in Washington fucking D.C. And I'm not here to toot my own horn, and I'm not conceited. I'm not a conceited person. I'm a very humble person. And I've studied Eastern philosophies, Buddhism, Shintoism, you name it, man, world religions. And I come from an Eastern philosophical point of view. That's kind of my fucking cup of tea, man. That's my forte. That's my thing. Born, Judeo-Christian. That's me, came from a Baptist upbringing. Enough about the fucking backstory. Point is this. I'm a humble dude. I scored one of the highest scores in the country on the ASVAB. And they told me that I qualified for any and all manner of special operations. Okay? So that's a real thing. That's a reality. That's my information in the OPM database. I've been to the OPM building in Washington, D.C., this operation here, C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. This is a New York operation. Some roughly 15 years ago, we'll say, in the DC area, I had been in the OPM building, the main shit. Okay? So, statuesque, stately, like, oh, it's the building of OPM, right? Pretty fucking dope, man. It's all high security and shit, right? What you find out, man, is that the OPM database that supposedly maintained integrity and accountability and reliability and all this shit, right, that you hear about in cybersecurity, it never did. It was all fake. It was all a facade. It was all made up, okay? So for all of those decades, the contractor information and federal employee information, it was all fucking compromised the whole time, pretty much. Because when you look at how it was being stored, how it was being supposedly maintained, if you look at the safeguards that were supposed to be in place, they were all bullshit. The government knew that it was all bullshit. But they're telling you it's the Office of Personnel Management, OPM. It's a highly secure database. You put your information into it, you submit your application, and we keep this, and we, order and file it, and rank and file and order and keep it all safe and all this shit. It's all fucking made up, dude. It's all illusory, dude. It's all just lip service. It's all just a bunch of dick-sucking fucking politicians, dude, and piece of shit, superficial wannabe fucking officials, dude, that are fucking you over, dude. They're lying to you through their fucking teeth. And I'm telling you, there is a new data breach. Now, to expound, to fucking expand that lens there, to magnify that lens, to look at this forensically at an auditing, monitoring level of forensic auditing. Dude, let me tell you this, dude. The fucking OPM breach was massive. Millions of federal employees and defense contractors. Well, there's a new data breach. There's a new data breach with the sam.gov website. Yes, I said sam.gov. And sam.gov is maintained by the Defense Logistics Agency, DLA. And then you also have the General Services Administration, and that is their domain. Now, though it's GSA, General Services Administration, sam.gov, and they're supposedly the facilitator, of sam.gov, which used to be the Central Contractor Registry, CCR, that system is a failed system. It's a piece of shit trash system, just like fucking PM. Now, ironically, my information was compromised in the database in the OPM breach, and I received the fucking stupid letter from OPM and the U.S. government saying, "Dear confidential government, contractor, blah, 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 yada, 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 your sensitive, private, confidential information was compromised by, we believe, foreign adversaries, but keep in mind and rest assured that your information is now being monitored by cybersecurity experts." And I'm like, well, I am a cybersecurity expert. How ironic. My information that was supposed to be in a secure database was breached, right? Because there totally wasn't the NSA and FBI and CIA monitoring our integrity and accountability and reliability the whole time, right? Right. So apparently OPM didn't have cybersecurity experts the first time around, the first go around. So then they're sending a letter that's telling all of us, oh yeah, so now there are cybersecurity experts monitoring your information. And I basically told them, hey, dude, fuck you, you goddamn motherfucking liars. Fuck you. Stop lying to Americans. Stop lying to America. You're motherfucking goddamn liars. So check it out. So there are no real cybersecurity experts at that time that the government was pretending were somehow now, after the breach, protecting America. Well, where were they before? Where were the cybersecurity experts before? And then they send a letter subsequent to that says, oh, now that your information has been breached, for all of these decades, we've been lying to you and there were no real safeguards. And this was a trashy system that was all wonky and it was all wacky and it was all just a made up facade. Okay, well, now we have some cybersecurity experts totally overnight. We just found some crap shoot cybersecurity experts overnight, and now they're going to monitor your. Yeah, right. Yeah, now we believe that you're going to do it right this time, right? No, we don't. So here's the irony. My information was compromised in that first breach. I'm the person who won the lottery, and I am reporting the new breach because I'm the one who detected it. I am the one who found it. I am the one who sensed it. I am the one who observed it. And I am the one who found it and brought it to the attention of the United States government and the United States intelligence community. What a fucking coincidence. Now, you want to repeat? You want to replay in history? Here it goes. So, now that this new breach has been reported, the government, similar to the very first instance of this taking place, is doing exactly, again, 100% what it did the first time. And I'll tell you what the response is. The Office of Director of National Intelligence reached out to me and started to ask me a series of questions after a year had gone by, after it had been reported. So in other words, I reported it 1 year ago to ODNI. It took the Office of Director of National Intelligence 1 fucking year to return my phone call. Even though, and I won't go into the different agencies that I've worked at within the U.S. intelligence community as a highly paid United States civilian defense contractor in the areas of science and technology, science and technical, and other. I've been involved in transnational investigations, multinational investigations, overseas investigations, international investigations, and domestic operations, domestic special intelligence operations. And ODNI has my information from the Department of Defense biometrics on file from work I've done at different military installations at U.S. Air Force bases and other agencies. So that said, they know my contractor profile. They know that I've had successful missions that I've carried out with different agencies and that I've been highly paid for that. I reported this information and these motherfuckers took a year to return my call. Even though, despite the fact that I indicated in that initial telephone conversation message that I left, that this was a matter of the highest levels of security and sensitivity, and that the information that I was referring to involved a massive data breach similar to that of the Office of Personnel Management. It was very goddamn clear. I also demonstrated the data breach to a group of attorneys with screenshots where I showed them how sensitive, confidential contractor, federal employee information was compromised again, and that it was 100% certainty that those records, those files, those data were already in the hands of foreign adversaries, and that foreign adversaries were identical to, composite with, similar, absolutely fucking proportional to, geometrically, symmetrically speaking, the OPM data breach, filing their own system of recordation, retrieval, archives, in terms of siphoning and pilfering said information from us, from America. They've been building a database based on this breach. They've been doing it because it's been an open fucking broken system, and the government has done nothing to patch it. I was in contact with the Defense Logistics Agency. I was in contact with the General Services Administration. I was in contact with the overseer, the so-called czar of the intelligence community that oversees all the ensigns. In other words, all the seals and symbols, all the components and entity members of the U.S. intelligence community. Just look at the fucking chart, dude. Look it up. U.S. Treasury, National Security Agency, CIA, FBI, fucking you name it. Whatever little crest, whatever little bust or head or symbol or eagle or whatever sign, all of those ensigns, the entire wheel. Okay, this is the fucking so-called overseer organization that materialized after 9/11, and it's done nothing to mitigate or stop the gap in this new leak of sensitive information. They've been fucking asking me stupid ass questions on the phone, like, how do you spell Dun & Bradstreet? And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Straight up. I'm going to be candid and frank with you. You're the United States intelligence community oversight, and you motherfuckers, dude, advertise that you're recruiting people that have PhDs in engineering and mathematics and science and fucking aerospace technology, people who can put fucking rovers on Mars with laser precision and fucking space vehicles and all this shit, and you're asking me how to spell Dun & Bradstreet. Fuck off. Fuck you. The reason you exist is because 9/11 was a failure of the FBI to stop terrorists that the FBI knew had infiltrated America and were learning how to fly planes and not land them. The FBI also had an analyst inside the FBI at the time. Her name was Colleen Rowley, and Colleen Rowley was a smart intelligence agent operative, and she was able to detect with her own sensing and detection tools, capabilities through forensic lenses. She was able to see that these people were training. She actually figured it out. She was the one that knew. The FBI told her, Agent Rowley, stand down. We have this handled and under control, and it's outside of your area of operations, expertise, your fucking jurisdiction. We're going to handle the matter. Fuck off. Stand down. Fuck you. We know about it, and it's being taken care of. That's what they told her. Colleen Rowley actually expertly knew that this was going to happen. She tried to stop it, and the FBI above her didn't want it stopped. They'll tell you that they wanted it stopped, but they're full of shit. The reason they fucking did it was for expanded police powers. And here's why. Because you think that the FBI and these people, and I'm not saying everybody at the FBI, I'm talking about the moles in our government, the people, the fucking little deep state, the little group inside FBI that's against the United States. going back to the times of J. Edgar Hoover when, if there was someone on television who was a, actor in Hollywood and that person supposedly had communist ties because, I don't know, the person was left-handed. Got to look up J. Edgar Hoover, dude. He was an American fucking Nazi. And, he was doing the same shit that Hitler was doing. And it was just all under the guise of, like, protecting America and defending America and all this shit that, is just a facade of, people like that. And he's just like Stalin and Mussolini, dude. He's a motherfucking Nazi, dude. And, wannabe Gestapo. And so he would identify these people who he could then pigeonhole and say, well, they're, these people are gay. They're homosexual, and so they're fucking communists, dude, and we got to go and put, FBI surveillance on these folks. He was basically, dude, just rounding people up, man, and fucking doing COINTEL programs and shit, giving, black African-American kids at universities that were perfectly healthy syphilis, just surreptitiously just giving people fucking syphilis. Here's a fucking sexually transmitted disease. You don't know that you have it, and we just gave it to you because you're a fucking communist, and I'm J. Edgar Hoover. And so that's why my name is going to be on the FBI, like, building in Washington, D.C., J. Edgar Hoover fucking building. It's kind of ironic, dude, that black African Americans go to work for the fucking J. Edgar Hoover organization. So anyway, and I say that as a half black African American myself, half white Caucasian. It's just really odd, dude. That have you ever seen Man in the High Castle? Have you ever seen the fucking TV show Man in the High Castle? So what now? Now America, dude. Have you ever heard of fucking Operation Paperclip? Operation Paperclip, German fucking Nazi scientist. So yeah, it's kind of strange, right? Yeah. I don't know. His name just is on the building, J. Edgar Hoover, because totally, dude, he was a fucking great guy, right? So yeah. So they didn't want to stop 9/11. They had no intentions of stopping 9/11. In fact, if they did, it would be bad for them because then you wouldn't have the Office of Director of National Intelligence. You wouldn't have TSA. You wouldn't have fucking Homeland Security and all these other slush funds. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that in this parallel universe that there aren't law enforcement officials and people on the ground, men and women, emergency responders, people, who work in the law enforcement community, the analysts, the people who do support to mission, who provide support to mission. I'm not saying that there aren't patriots and there aren't people, men and women in blue, who are serving and are military and veterans and folks. Got to stop smoking cigars, man. Point is, these agencies that came to exist that materialized like a crystalline matrix after 9/11, it's really interesting how they operate deceptively. Not all aspects, like if you slice it up like a pie, I'm not saying all elements, all subsections and subsets within that larger geometry. I'm saying the moles, the deep state, the motherfuckers that have been passing the torch from one generation to another, from J. Edgar Hoover to Robert Mueller, right? Just passing the torch, this is how we do it, and you know what you got to do, man, from one generation to the next, right? Deep state. So all these motherfuckers, man, they're all doing the same shit, and they had no intention of stopping 9/11, and they were tired of communicating information regarding terrorists carrying out these types of attacks to the CIA, because there's always been a rivalry between the CIA and the FBI, and even though they'll tell you that they cooperate and that they've carried out successful operations jointly, the truth is, dude, is neither of the fucking organizations like each other, and it's all just a made-up fucking facade. It's all just bullshit. It's all fucking lies and deception, and they do not get along, and they are not friends. They were forced. Hundreds of years of history of the United States, and they never cooperated because the FBI is not an intelligence organization. It only added an intelligence component to in terms of internet, foreign intelligence. They're not a foreign intelligence based organization. They never were until after 9/11, when they were forced to form one, and they were forced to fake forge an alliance with the CIA. Most of the people, man, I've communicated with who are people who previously worked at CIA, they have an inherent dislike and disdain for the FBI. Because, dude, it's sad. I mean, hey, listen, I'm just being honest, man. As I indicated, they're apples and oranges. They're two different worlds and two different universes in and of themselves. They do different things. The FBI will lead you to believe that they're a fucking CIA type organization because they want you to believe that shit, but they're not. And if you look up the case history, they had in the past a small office, and there was like one dude that was doing like counterintelligence work in terms of foreign intelligence, and they fucking picked on that guy, dude. It was workplace harassment. They were addicted to that, dude. They're like, oh yeah, the guy that does counter intel down, and let's go haze the guy. And they'd go down, dude, and they'd rough him up. Let's go fuck with him, dude, and give him some knuckle fucking, rubs and shit, just, bonk him on his head. And they fucking treated him like shit, dude. That's real fucking history right out of the intelligence tradecraft textbook, dude. Because I studied military intelligence, counter-espionage, and I've had professors who were CIA and asymmetric warfare practitioners, dude, with special operations communities, dude. And I'm talking about U.S. military. So, intelligence and civilian intelligence experts, practitioners, dude, in the field of fucking intelligence tradecraft. And my grade at American Military University in counter-espionage upper division was 4.0, A grade. Okay? So, what I'm sharing with you is that there has always between the two agency, the agency and the bureau, right? There's always been this divide and this dislike, okay, for one another. They don't like each other, and they never will. And if anybody tells you that they do, it's bullshit, and it's all totally fucking made up. So the FBI, well, not the entire FBI, but the people calling the shots at the top at the time, they didn't want to keep communicating with the CIA about this terrorist activity, because they knew that these motherfuckers were going to do some shit with the planes, and they knew that it was going to be big, and they knew that it was going to involve the towers, because they already had remote viewer intelligence information from the CIA. Okay? CIA had remote viewer information from a remote viewer who actually saw 9/11 happen years before it happened, like more than a decade before it happened, like fucking 20 fucking years before it happened. There's a Central Intelligence Agency remote viewer who actually saw this attack on America. And so the intel was there. And the FBI knew, parallel universities, multiple universities, dude, transdimensional activity, shit that sounds totally, absolutely fucking bonkers and crazy, outrageous, over the top, like cuckoo, Popeye, right? It sounds nutty until you investigate it, dude, and you read the CIA CREST files, the millions of files that were just released, and you start digging into the archives and the history and start looking at the data and the details and the info and the intel. When you start looking at it, dude, you find out that there are remote viewers and that there are telepaths and people who can read human minds and they can sense human emotions, and there are mind readers, and there are people who are known to transit and traverse multiple dimensions, people that are called the shadow people, that people think, oh, that's just something that people see when they're on meth. They're like, oh, that guy, he's on meth and he's seeing some shadow people because he just told us, oh, there's shadow people. Well, the FBI in declassified documents have tracked and sensed these shadow people that enter in and out of different dimensions, and they're actually real entities. They're not even made up, and they're not even fake. They're totally fucking real, and that's on CIA file that has been declassified, that there are transdimensional, hyperdimensional entities that transit and traverse different parallel, multiple universes. And so the FBI, dude, they knew that 9/11 was going to go down, and that's why they stopped Agent Rally, and they were like, Agent, stand down, fuck you, fuck off. And they let it happen, dude, because they don't care about fucking casualties like that, dude. And I'm not talking about everybody at the FBI, and I've been very clear about that, dude. So don't you ever fucking say anything, man. Like, oh yeah, you mean, you fucking, some people at the FBI are actually trying to do a job. I've already told you that. I've already explained that. I'm talking about the people who are the fucking moles, okay, the traitors involved in treason. In treason, by the way, I'm not giving you any kind of legal advice. I'm just telling you, dude, it's a matter of fucking legal fucking fact that treason is during a time of war, okay? Global War on Terror, GWOT, G-W-O-T, was World War IV. It was absolutely World War IV. James Woolsey, former director of Central Intelligence, he made it very clear that if you have a PhD in history, military, in any kind of international affairs, international relations, science, technology, education, if you look at what constitutes a war, this is the definition of war. This is what fucking war is. When you look at that information, the global war on terror is a global war on terror The Cold War was World War III. That's what the CIA says. That was James Woolsey at the time. And the global war on terror was World War IV. So when you look at these casualties of war, these motherfuckers, dude, at the FBI, they let 9/11 happen. I didn't say everybody at the FBI. I said the ones calling the shots, the deep state, they let it happen because they knew there would be casualties and it would be high number of casualties. And they knew that those towers, man, were going to fucking come down. They knew that shit and they let it happen. They let it fucking happen because they knew what the benefit was going to be for them after the fact. They knew that the net result was going to yield their satisfaction, which was even more power. And so that's why a lot of what happened during 9/11 is classified, because they don't want you to know what really happened, and they covered it all up. Because, if America was attacked, why wouldn't that information be public information where generations, new generations can, for thousands of fucking years, man, forever and always, they can read the annals of time and they can see what happened. Because the fucking government, the fucking deep state doesn't want you to know. They don't want you to know because it's covered up, dude. Why wouldn't they want you to know? Oh, because if you knew, it would freak out your mind and you wouldn't be able to deal with reality. Well, they deal with reality knowing what the fuck happened, right? So they assume you're a peon and you're a piece of shit and you don't have a fucking need to know. And they clearly covered it up and they clearly fucking let it happen. And that's why most of what happened with the 9/11 commission is all redacted and it's all black fucking out. And it's all just, fucking contrived, dude. It's all artificial, man. It's made the fuck up. So they let it happen. And so now there's a new data breach and I'm the one who told you about it. And I was very clear about it. I won't go into details at this point. I'm not like Edward Snowden. I'm not going to run and fucking start telling, other countries about this matter because, dude, I've already done my job, my civic duty, and I've already let all these different attorneys know. And, dude, it's on their hands, man, knowing what I've shared with them and the fact that they're too fucking pussy and they're too cowardly and they're fucking, dude, their story is, oh, it's too complex and too sophisticated. And I'm like, are you fearful of reporting this information so that we can save the lives of these folks? Remember OPM, remember 9/11? It's your job as an American. You have this information. Oh, but our current caseload and, blah, blah, blah. And it's we're so scared and we're fucking chicken shit. Fucking piece of shit, sniveling, whining, conniving, fucking dick-sucking, punk-ass motherfucking attorneys, dude. They know about the data breach. It's been brought to their attention, and they're fucking, hey, man, they're fucking garbage, dude. They're fucking totally un-American, man. Douchebag fucking stoogery, dude. If you look at the movie, man, Boardwalk Empire, if you look at the shit that was going on during the era of Prohibition, these are still the same weaselly fucking weasels, dude. The same little fucking ferrets mongoosing around, doing all the little sneaky mongoose ferret, they're still the fucking Ferengi ass motherfuckers, dude, doing the con jobs. And they don't have America's best interest in mind, dude. Because if they did, they would have stopped the data breach immediately. They would have, they would have fixed it, dude. They would have mitigated it. They would have remedied it. They would have rectified it. They would have resolved it. And there would have been, and it would have been great. And it would have been logical and it would have made sense. But you see what happens is, man, these are the profiteers. These are the pirates, man. They do this fucking barbaric shit, this medieval shit, because they know that they'll profit from it in the aftermath. Okay? When the shit is when it's, in the enemy's we have all this information and now it's WikiLeaks. They make money on that shit, man. And so that's it, folks, in terms of what I've reported to you for this 30th episode. And you now understand how, when reporting data breaches to the United States government, they're not always quick to respond and say, oh, hey, thank you very much. Now we can save the lives of these folks, and we appreciate that, dude. And, it's very kind and generous of you to bring this to our attention. It doesn't work like that, man. No, it doesn't. No, they want to try to talk you out of it, and they want to try to fucking scare you, and they want to try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. No, but see, in this case, dude, I have all the fucking data. I have all the files. I have all the records, dude. And all these attorneys I've spoken with, man, who have been like, well, that's an absolutely serious issue. It's man, that shit is fucking crazy. Here's the deal. I'm fucking scared and I'm out. I'm just too pussy. I'm too much of a fucking coward to bring it to the authorities and the people who can do. I mean, look, dude, if ODNI doesn't give a fucking shit, if they don't give a fuck, I mean, they called me, dude, a year later and we've been having conversations. But dude, they're asking me stupid motherfucking questions. So now, sir, how do you spell Dunn and Bradstreet again? And I'm like, Yeah, dude, fuck you.